Okay, hello everybody, welcome. This is Dallas Personal Robotics Group monthly meeting. Today we have two presentations, one on JTAG and one on ROS2 on a Raspberry Pi Zero 2W. So for those of you watching on video, we have obviously monthly meetings are roughly every month. We also have meetings about every Tuesday night, and all are welcome to join in person or virtually when we have those. So let me see, is there anything else we should touch on?
Is Mike going to start?
Mike will start with the JTAG and then ROS2.
No, he's Mike Ross. So.
Yeah, ROS2.
Scott, are you going to jump up there? Yeah, I'm going to start. Okay, then
he's
slide
gonna,
over.
Okay.
Slide
No,
over.
once he's done, then I'll set up. Okay.
Okay.
The other thing you
Slide
might
over.
want to bring up is the Columbus plane.
Okay, so there's one other thing before we settle this down, and that is that in November we have upcoming our outdoor contest, Robo Columbus, 3 cones, and robots have to find the cones and return to start all on their very lonesome self. So encourage you to either watch or participate in person here in Dallas, or the early Ontario, Canada run on October 26th, or Dallas, November 23rd. And with that, I will stop babbling and let Mike take over and tell us all about ROS2. We'll have to mute.
All right, so hopefully I'm speaking now, and how come I'm not showing up? Huh?
It's showing your screen, whatever you've got on your screen. Okay. Now you can. Okay, what we'll do is I can. Well.
Okay, so.
Yeah. You got it.
Yeah. People. All right. So basically, I'm going to do a little disclosure on here. My project was to get ROS2 running on a Raspberry Pi Zero, specifically the 2W Zero, which is supposed to be a little more powerful than just the W. And for full disclosure. I would say that it's probably not a great idea because it works, but it's just sluggish, to say the least. And it seems to be a little bit of delay. So basically, I'm going to show my setup here. I'm just going to slide this over and show it right there. And so basically, it's the Pi Zero's here, and then this is my setup for it. The setup is a sonic sensor and an LED. And so there's a ROS node for the sonic sensor and a ROS node for the LED, and they talk over it. And the sensor sends a topic out, the ROS topic, and then the LED reads them or detects the ROS topic and processes it. So that's the hardware setup. And I can do and I have a GitHub site which has all the information. Okay, so basically, I created a GitHub for it. What's this stuff?
Oh, sorry. I'll pin for you. There you go.
Strange.
We're
having little technical issues here. Coordination. Yeah. So basically, I have a ROS, like in in my GitHub, I have, trying to bring up everything. So I have some stuff which is, here's my Robo Columbus for 2025. So full disclosure, I'm not going to compete until 2025. So I'm working on the project. And this is the one that I'm working on right now. This one here was for indoor competition. So I'll take it and work on it better for next year. And so this is the, so basically, I have two sections on here. One is, or basically inside the README file, I basically say that we're installing Ubuntu and ROS2 on the Pi 02W. And my style of putting a README file is to try not to duplicate really good tutorials on how to do stuff, like load Ubuntu and stuff and load ROS. I just say, do what they say. And otherwise, this thing would be big and probably error prone and full of errors. So basically, it's like the Raspberry Pi imager and this section here. And so the idea is so once you've installed the Raspberry Pi imager and set it up, you want to use the server, not the desktop, definitely on the Pi, on the Zero, and that makes it a lot easier, lot less bits, processing power needed. And
The server doesn't have a desktop set up.
right,
It's just kind of
right. You don't want a desktop on a Pi Zero. No. And also so once you set it up, like if you set your username to whichever you want, I'm suggesting Robo2W for the present for this demo, and then whatever the host name you have, you should be able to log into it with Robo2W at my host name was robo2w.local, and when you're setting up the Ubuntu, it asks for the Wi-Fi information, so it should work. And then once you get it, you really need to add swap to get it to work with any kind of robustness. Otherwise, it's really sluggish. And when we put swap memory into it, then it's just sort of sluggish. And so there's a couple tutorials on that, and they seem to say like use no more than the memory size that you're trying to swap. So since the Pi W has 500 meg, then use 500 meg for the swap. And if you're having issues with the Wi-Fi, you can connect using the serial cable. And there's lots of tutorials on that on the web. So, but I never had to use a serial cable. And so once you've done all your configuration, you want to update everything, upgrade everything using apt and reboot. And then you have a good installation of Ubuntu. And then the ROS2, I'm doing Iron instead of Humble. I'm not doing the latest one, which is Jazzy, because it's just not quite ready. It doesn't have all the features working yet. And then there's a good demonstration of that. And then you might want to clone the repo I have just to get the files. And basically, you can use VS Code to manage as the IDE to connect remotely to the Raspberry Pi or Zero. And then once you got that running, then you can run the talker and listener nodes and see if ROS2 works. Those are pretty good low bandwidth type stuff. And then the two nodes that I have is the LED and the HC-SR04 nodes. And inside of ROS, they have a directory structure, which is ROS2 workspace, source, Robo2W stuff, and then Robo2W stuff again, and then you'll see the code. And one thing I'm using is to get access to manage or to get the sensor and the LED to work is I'm using the GPIO0 Python package, which maps the pins on the Raspberry Pi to the so that you can control it in Python. And you don't have to use a Pi 2.0. You can run all this code on a Pi 3, Pi 4, whatever you want to run it on. Like if you wanted to get a Pi 3, it'd run a lot better. So
why a 0 then?
it was my stretch goal. It's just like, can I get ROS2 to run on a Pi 0? And like I said, my full disclosure is I wouldn't recommend it unless you really had to do it for some odd reason, like a demo.
It sounds a little like the people who try and get Windows running on a 5.3.
Right, something like that.
5.4. It's been done, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, you want to run the to run it. You want to, once you got the ROS environment set up and the code loaded or cloned, you can run ROS2 run ROS2W stuff, which is my package name, and then the node name, which is the HCSR04. And then in another terminal, you run the same thing, but with the LED node, and it brings up the LED node. And if you want to look at the messages, you can echo the topic, which is HCR4 message. So that's what's in the README file. I'm gonna go to the let's see. I'm gonna present the terminals now. Let me. I think that's it. Yeah. So I brought up the terminals, and right here I did an SSH to Robo2W at 172.20.10.10. I set it up on my iPhone as the Wi-Fi, so I didn't have to. So I sort of knew it would work, and it would have worked better on the DMS Wi-Fi, but it wasn't here. I couldn't make sure it worked, and then it came up and then showed me what the files were. And so what I can do on this window is to do a ROS2, ROS2 run. What was it? Robo. Oh, no. Oh, my SSH is not up. Oh, it got disconnected. Let me do this SSH again. It's sluggish, but it's functional. Yeah, this is a Windows subsystem for Linux, WSL. ROS2 run. I was wondering before why it wasn't so sluggish. Now it's sluggish again. Oh, there we go. And then let's bring up because the ROS2 has autocomplete, and so when I push the button, it's taken many seconds to autocomplete on the Pi 0. Usually it takes 1 second instead of 5 seconds. Okay, so you can see that the node is up. It sort of has a maximum distance of 1 meter, so it just says 1 meter. It's really, you know, out of range, and can't see that. Okay. And when someone gets in front of it, you can see that it changes the distance. So the distance sensor is working as advertised using the GPIO 0 package. Then I'm going to set up. I'm going to do the client on here, the LED. So you can see ROS2 is running on the W. ROS2 run. So the next thing, the package name is W stuff, and then it's the LED node. Yeah. So basically, it duplicates what's on the sensor here. I'm going to go and
So Mike, is the LED flashing on and off?
it is if when you're close. Yeah. So I'm going to take out my presentation and show the the camera here. So undo presentation. Yeah. So this is my setup. Hopefully you can see the LED in there.
I'm not seeing it too well.
We'll angle it down a little bit.
Turn it towards it, tilt it, so that will give you a different, does it like need to be encrypted at a certain distance?
No, well, less than 1 meter.
Yeah, okay, yes.
Yeah.
So point it at something.
So basically, it has 1 meter or more, which so the LED is off. When you're right in front of it, then the LED is on solid. If you go further away, then it starts flashing.
You point to LED so we know which LED to look at.
Oh,
and it's the red one, right?
Yeah, the one on the breadboard. And so if you're close and then further away, so people that are physically here, they can come play with it after the presentation. But the idea is, yeah. So got Carl's foot, yeah. so that's, unless people are really interested in the code, which you can get from my GitHub Mike W123. I think my presentation is over. I've shown that it worked, and if there's any questions, I'm open.
What's the ultimate goal of this technology? I mean, are you going to integrate that into a robot or expand it into something, or is just
this is a demo? It's basically, I was thinking I would go further, but it's so sluggish. I'm just gonna say I'm done.
Presentation over.
Yeah. I'm not gonna try to put robotics movements.
I want to add something to that. 2 meetings ago, we had a discussion. You know, it would really be cool if somebody showed the absolute simplest ROS2 execution. And so what Mike has done is created essentially a very common sensor and a very simple visual interface. Sure enough, he's been able to demonstrate that.
Right. And so if you replace my 2W with a Pi 3, which isn't much more costly than a Pi W, it would work a lot better.
So the LED would blink much better on the Pi 4.
No, but when I did top in Linux on the Pi 0, the sensor was taking up 25% of the processor.
Oh wow.
So the Pi 0 package seems to be not very well tuned.
I think the Pi Zero package along with the other one for Pi, it's Pi IO or something. It does, like I2C, it just duplicates. It doesn't actually use a MOS, like a hardware I2C.
Proper library.
Which is what makes it so CPU intensive.
Right.
GPIO, it was much better.
Because it uses the native I2C.
But like the sensor package, I just wanted to do something real simple, and
Yeah.
but I'm sure there's better packages.
Well, those sensors, those sonar sensors, you can use them in I2C, or I think there's like a ping mode or something you can use.
Oh, there's different sensors, but
Yeah.
this one only has the echo and trigger.
Is that the I2C one?
No, it's just the $5 one. Yeah, not the $7 one.
I'm just perpetually amused
Here.
perpetually amused by how much effort, and energy, and time we'll put into blinking an LED.
Yeah.
You mentioned Pi 3 a few times. I do a little robotic club for some teenagers, and I have some very expendable Pi 2s. Should it work on a Pi 2?
It should work, and that's might be better than the W, but I don't know. You have to see the specs.
If we blow it, it'd be a lot better than.
Yeah, like the Pi W or Pi 0 2W might even have more power than the Pi 2. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never touched Pi 2 before.
These things are like $5 at the old Tanner, so I couldn't pass them.
Right. So you could run it on it and it probably run just as well, maybe better than on a Pi 2.
But I think anybody who's been scared of ROS2, Mike has shown a path to get started, which is really cool. So if you've been thinking about using ROS2, Mike shows that you can do it, and it didn't take too much to do it. And he's giving you GitHub and everything you would need to actually get very well into it.
Yeah.
Thank you for it.
Yes.
Yeah, very good.
So basically it's just ultra minimal.